Get up there, you same back attackers. Bill Alice is getting poked out. Warlanders getting shots. There's a PP together. Or check out. It's from us. It's just not on. They did before we start this. Not that. These cause of a meeting.
Okay. Well, I'm ready to go live when you are. Welcome back to Warlanders Live, guys.
We're live?
Yep.
Welcome back to GC Not Live. I love how you do that. I love Matt Pat.
Yeah.
He is almost 1 million subscribers, man. 500,000 or something like that.
Yeah, he's got like 10 million now.
I know, but at the time of the video, it was a drama of my life.
It was like 500,000 at that time.
Right. How new was that, though?
That was like
I just saw it.
6 or 7 years ago, I think.
You know what I mean? I never saw it until just now. So I love YouTube's algorithm to, again, suppress those where the bot, we'll call them the play bot, deems unnervingly disgusting, too white, like it's racist, but it's sexist, and it enjoys suppressing those of a certain orientation of any kind. I go and yammer on about how bad the bot is, but God knows how bad the bot is and exploits them.
Right. But today, or not today, but this next video, this will be our last stream or of these topics today, and then we'll be doing Inalva Juice Head tomorrow. But today this time we're doing one on Kev Do It, the noob killer, as you called him, which is a fitting name.
I call him a noob killer. I mean, he hasn't actually killed any noobs yet, but you might as well give them, when you know for a fact that Nuka Shine is broken, and you intentionally give it to people low at the vault. And you make it, it's a really neat drink that everyone in the game loves. Take a swig of that thing, you'll have a very fun time, let you get more strength in the wasteland. Those low levels oftentimes get stuck where low levels should never ever be. Again, surprisingly with Todd's fuck ups and fails, Nuka Shine was one of them, but what I am grateful for is the quest Nuka Shine, the one that you get for a quest. I don't think that one's bugged. Kev Do It made 20 Nuka Shine in one video, and over the span of like the next few videos, he gave a low level Nuka Shine. Sometimes gave more than one. But they make it sound like the coolest thing ever. He targeted those who didn't know what Fallout was and told them it was a cool drink that make it stronger or some shit like that. You might as well be a noob killer because, again, some of those low levels just don't know what the hell's up with that dude. And if anyone ran up to you and you didn't know what the game was about and offered you a free thing, as low levels tend to get free stuff and oftentimes free rare stuff. I mean, you could talk about the time in my line of work, which I got in massive trouble for doing, but I used my company codes and some other things, and I almost got fired for it because Todd doesn't let me like people being generous to that company. But I gave a low-level legacy weapon. It was kind of down to him for a little bit. He basically was tagged. So if an individual said, "That's a really shit weapon, you should give it to me, I'll give you this pipe guy." I told the kid what it was about. I gave him an email. Told him, this gun doesn't exist in the game anymore. But because I'm giving it to you at the bottom of my heart, don't give it to no one else no matter what. I got an email back from that kid. Now, that's like kid, he was in his he of course was one of the ones that was 13, I guess.
13.
It was not in the boundaries to play the game, but again, a low level is a low level. And until you're hit 100, everyone else is lower level than you, no matter what level you are. You can treat another level 1 like a low level, and y'all can brave it together, team up. But after that, everyone's low level than you, no matter what level you are. Once you leave that vault, everyone's on the same scale. If you give up helping, you're just another low level to some other guy, and he doesn't want to help you either. And if something happened that you felt unhappy about because a level 600 shows up and just mows you down because he wants to, I'd blame it on you not wanting to help a level 5. Everyone's a low level than you. There's always going to be the guy that says you're a low level to me. So that's a good truth pie, I guess. Truth cake. I don't know what you call it. Just salivate over to think that you help a low level, and you might just be freed of an enemy, a large enemy creature. This is not a threat. No, this is just me saying that what goes around comes around. If you're nice to a bunch of low levels, you might get something good will happen to you later eventually.
Right.
In the case of Riley, back when the Soviet was around, the only thing you got was a hospital visit because your heart condition was triggered on purpose by one individual who just, I'm going to fight this guy because he looked at a low level weird. You just drug her into PvP, dumbass. And of course, he flat out didn't acknowledge that when I got involved. So just remember, people, what goes around comes around. What goes up must, and will inevitably come back down. Oftentimes with a harder smack than it took to get up there.
Right.
And Cap DeWitt is still waiting for that hard drop.
But he needs it. He needs it soon.
To low levels, modding the game, completely modding it out to have 50 cal machine guns. And as a dev, I had a machine gun like this one time. I found in the game's code of we call it the area of cut content, where it's like shit that you know is a little too big, what was released but not publicly released, thank God. But then there's Kev DeWitt. Oh, look, a 50 cal machine gun that has every bullet you shoot has the power of a mini nuke. No joke, it caused explosions. There was a 2-shot explosive or something, but it had the ungodly power of a mini nuke, each bullet. And he went there and he played the game with it. He had a whole series on shit like that. It was like, no wonder people like to dupe and mod. Just dumbasses here flaunting his ability to do so.
Right.
Or the guy that happened before the second Poshnock went through and started spawning in all that event items. That millions of it fall from the sky. And he was like, look what I can do, because I'm a computer player. Just glasses, I'm so cool. I can cause the game disruption and make that version of the game completely void of caps. You wondered why we were suffering from a lore-based inflation and an in-game inflation. In the game, the dollar currency was like $40 for a comic book. And in the game right now, everything is starting to become useless in form of caps. Because people are doing things that makes the caps wrong and invalid. However, again, I kind of won't give them too much problem right now, because anything that happens bad in the game via player should be praised, given that right now at this point Todd doesn't know how to run his own game.
Nor does he care to.
At the same time, I can't scold them for... But do you have anything you want to say about Kev DeWitt?
Okay, the fact that Kev DeWitt, you already mentioned the Nuke Shine video, but I wanted to mention the title of that video was just so bad. Giving a toxic drink to new players. You just fucking, at that point, you know what you're doing. Like, that's...
He knew it was bugged.
Yeah.
He knows it was bugged. He knew from the very beginning when it first ever happened.
And he probably ruined some of those accounts. And he's still getting to walk around in 76. Against Bethesda's...
We would have got banned.
But if somebody wants to do a bug or glitch or explain that the Nuke Shine is bugged... You know they get fucking banned. You know, you and I both know that they would get fucking banned for trying to do a good deed for the company. But because we don't have enough clout behind our fucking back, we would get banned for doing that.
Jared still walks around. He still has the alien blaster that shot like a laser rifle. And whatever it hit combusted and burnt for a long time. And then it, did something and the thing would just die. It had ungodly amounts of stats. All the things he picked up were ungodly. And I was sitting here thinking, you know what you're doing. Kind of want that 50 cal. Not gonna lie, it was pretty neat. But given the game's stability, it wouldn't be worth it. Given the risk of
You would
panning.
crash nearly every time you shot that thing.
I don't know how he did it. But again, there are people in different formats that just do that shit. I can't confirm or deny whether or not he's a computer player or not. The computer players are so unruly right now, apparently from what I've heard, that they're the reason why Todd doesn't give a fuck anywhere else. But no, I'm going to call that statement false. And Todd is the reason why no one gives a damn. Todd is the one that the reason people don't care.
Right.
Not the other way around. So, but though I'm not going to give Kev Do It a free pass in this. I give anyone else a free pass because the community. He is not the community. He's ostracized himself. To me, targeting a low level, especially ones right out of the vault, with petty jokes, with the intent of comical use, and is it being a cyberbullying thing down the road. Shortly after he released that video on Nukashine, so. And then revisited the cyberbullying thing where he went and visited low levels and was like, your mom's so fat that the Poseidon oil rig and space station were smaller, or something like that. Yeah, I know it's petty, but to a child, that's hateful. You would make some kids cry, man. And that's where I went back in our last video and said, if I met him in real life, I'd probably punch him. Because he targets the lower levels. And some of these people he knows are children younger than him. He has been no stranger in other video games that I know of directly to get banned from other games for doing shit like that. There was other games that weren't Bethesda games. He's been banned for doing shit like that. Finding something that is knowingly destructive, and for the lulz, I'm going to give it to this low-level player, and then I'm going to joke about their mom or something. But their one parents, I don't remember how many the kid had, but they sued. They sued that company, and when the company found out that Kevin Newell was the reason why they're getting sued, they kicked him out flat out. Now, lo and behold, it was a shooter game. Don't remember which one. Don't remember if it's even active anymore. But it effectively, eventually, I know that it shouldn't be active anymore because it was when he was a bit younger. It eventually made the game flatline. They dropped that game altogether because of the repercussions of what he did. And he's doing it in Fallout. And like the other company where they were like, no, bad player. Todd's like, I can watch this all day. This seems like fun to watch. I'll look at other guys doing it. Make sure you ban him while I watch Todd do the same exact thing. Yes, Mr. Howard. That's how it was when I worked at Bethesda for a long time. I hated it there. It was like Todd made so many poor decisions. And I was like, me fix game against my job and my occupation, get fired, or watch it happen like I kind of had to do for so long. He had me in such a way of a vice that as soon as I was done fixing Wastelanders, so the engine so it could run Wastelanders properly, he was already going to fire me for being friends with people in the game. Developers don't usually have friends, like, on the Xbox and shit. And if they do, they don't see their developers. They don't do anything like I did. When they do, they have to give the person a thing to say, you won't tell nobody or I'll lose my job. And what did I do? I had to do 2 times. I willingly proved to individuals that I was a developer by doing what? Spawning in the robot.
Yeah, you spawned in the robot.
That spawns up at Charlton train station. There's times where you could live that long, but very rarely, because again, all you gotta do is fist him. Your weakest character could fist him and kill him, and the iBots will last longer than him. But I spawned it in there for one individual, and he was very mildly pleased, but I wouldn't say he believed it. But again, I did that on purpose. I got immediately in trouble by Todd shortly after, but I looked Todd in the face and said, you wait till Wastelanders drops. I'm the one that's running it, buddy. I told him, I looked him in the face, says, fire me if you will, but you're lazy and stupid enough to never find another guy to do it. So if I leave or get fired, Wastelanders does not drop. He backed off my case, and then Wastelanders drops, and he was like, you're fired. Just, you're fired, and I don't have to pay you either. Bye. That was the end of it. We did some legal paperwork here and there. And basically, that's why I keep saying, sue Cinemax. Fuck trying to get Bethesda to crumble to peer pressure, as I see some people say. Poke Cinemax. That's what I did. I sued Cinemax for it. Got a couple million off of them for it, too. Because, again, without me, there is no Wastelanders. You're screwed, Todd. Bye. I joined that company to see how fucked up it was. And ended up working enough overtime to technically qualify as Todd himself. So, on overtime, just straight up overtime. Right. None of my jobs were required of me to do so. There's nights where I didn't go to bed till like 2 in the morning, and then I had to get up at like maybe then like an hour of sleep, get up and repeat the process. And Amber was getting sick of it. Amber was very mad about that. She's like, I don't care if Todd tells you to go to work tomorrow. You need to stop going to work. It was that time we had just recently been married for about a year, and it was like he was little. I felt, and she felt like he was dragging me away from her on purpose. Clover doesn't like Todd. The greatest witch known to mankind itself hates Todd with a burning passion. You can probably guess why on your own time. Right. But I'll tell you flat out what happened. He made a sex joke and tried to, how to put it, pet Clover in a very interesting place. You probably shouldn't do it. And is it when she got mad at him, he basically said, well, you're a whore, aren't you? That's your job to let people pet you like that. He didn't say, I'm sorry that I was trying to grab you in places you shouldn't be grabbed. Called her a whore. So she don't like Todd. And all efforts to punish him for that moment has, up to this point, failed. He used that she did become a lady of the night at one point for a month or so, to put that the fact that he didn't go there, but she came to him looking for sex. Totally a lie there, Todd, but the courts didn't really work. We didn't have time to straight up sue Zenimax just for that. We were busy with other things like hospital visits for Riley and other things with Sabrina or otherwise. Every time we did, Zenimax Todd always had but wait, you can't get me in trouble, right? He pulled the basically I'm white moment, where I'm black, or pick your own race, or make up your own color, that I'm yellow or purple. You can't ban me because that's racially, because she's a whore, and that would be like giving me a girlfriend saying I had to put her in a case, is what he was basically saying. Tried to rape Clover, and he believes with his heart and soul, his lying tongue lied his way out of getting in trouble every single time. If I see Todd, he's going to be in some big trouble. Because that happened right before I got fired. If I ever see that fucker again, he's going to get in trouble. He thinks he's big shot. He thinks he's hot shot big business. Like I said, if these petitions go through, hopefully this is what Clover mentioned in their prophecy thing. Hopefully these are the videos we're talking about where, a dark wave of papers flood his place and he has to step down, or because then I'm actually basically ditch the game.
I hope so.
That'll probably lose every game they've ran will now likely be gone. But the idea of even losing Fallout Forever for the sake of change, it's fine with me, because then we know Todd can't fap with one hand, rage typing the other, and then when a problem actually arises, he goes and turns the lights off in Space and says, not how
Like I said, I'd be
Like
fine if
tomorrow.
he banned me, but I'd also be fine if Fallout went gone for good because no one was there to run it. Because, like I said, I could just move on to another game. I could keep playing Fallout, but I have other games to play. I'm not bound to him.
You're having lots of audio feedback on our end, man. It's very loud.
Oh.
And very high-pitched.
Sorry.
Like, it's like that audio feedback crap when you put a microphone to a speaker thing. Oh, God. It did it on last video, too. A little bit.
Damn.
Before we started the video. And especially when you were listening off the thing. The Kev Do It is one of those guys, and I've actually seen him move a little bit less videos in. But then you got people like Juicehead that are getting in trouble for small things. And all of it's because he showed his face on the internet and then something else. Then why is Kev Do It not getting in trouble? It confuses the fuck out of me. Because after that video got out, he made the next one was he picked a different build of the game and he ran it to Wastelanders. He ran those shotgun builds are insane, pistol builds are insane, body builds are insane.
That was stupid.
He was clout hungry. But he was doing something that would get him in less trouble. So again, do wrong, lay low. When the band group decides to forget he's there, go back to doing something stupid and taunt them a little bit. If they get any ideas, lay low. Stop making videos, or make videos and just joke about those videos being all fake and scripted or something like he's been known to do. That's what he did last time when that game banned him. He said those were all scripted and fake. And the court order is also scripted or some shit like that. The jury didn't like that. It didn't help him in his favor. He was permanently banned from that game, but because of what happened, that game crashed. It was gone. So he not only is he might as well be a noob killer, he's also a game killer. He knows what he's doing, and he's doing the same shit he did with other games. Bully a low level, make it sound like they were both in cahoots in a scripted lull moment. These are kids that probably don't know how to read a script that well or are too busy to try to learn about the game. And then he gives you a toxic drink. You know it's toxic. Everyone knew it was toxic. But again, YouTubers tend to, after a little bit of time of streaming, and that's kind of why I'm glad you're not super popular like them, because eventually your viewers are going to start begging you to do shit. And 3 out of like 20 video comments will be like, will you do Twitch for me? Can you change all your shit to be Twitch? Man, I'm going to unsub if you don't stop making Fallout vids. And that's Rifle had to deal with at one point. So those people that did unsub, good job. Because so many people got sick of making Fallout videos. And he made a video that, oh, that's okay if you unfriend me, but I'm not going to stop because I love Fallout. Totally not an ad sub.
Man, if people ask me to do that shit,
that people feel that.
If people ask me to do that shit, I would kindly refuse. Because let me tell you a little funny story. Somebody recently commented on one of my things, the Tetris. No, it was something about the little skit project we were doing. He said your channel died, Lamau, and at that time he had more subs than me. But then when I was doing my Tetris remix, he made a comment. Yeah, I'm gonna now revive your channel. So I decided to look how many subs he had. He had under my sub count. So, you know, he got his the dude was his name was Jerry Nugar. I talked to him for a little bit, but he got his due karma. Let's say, yeah, he got his due karma. I didn't even bother with it because I knew it would come, but it did. It really did.
It did. That's what happens when you make stupid comments and pretend to be someone you're not.
But that's kind of the point I'm trying to make. I don't care if my channel is dead.
In the chair, Kate.
I'm going to still make content because I never came into it for the clout. I came into it because it was something I enjoyed doing. And that's...
Right. Yep. I enjoy it too.
Right. And I'm glad you do enjoy it. But, you know, with Kev Do It, and a lot of these Fallout 76 players that are big on YouTube, they pander. Some people, they'll just pander. And I'm like, I'm not about that life.
Static. But I agree with you. And again, the things that he tends to do anyways, his videos are not like direct people, the guys that show up here and like, look at this new ban wave, and oh my gosh, data mine sources and sources for dupers, all this bull crap. I mean, you'd think if and again, this is another video, this little snippet we'll be doing later on, maybe tomorrow, but the layout of these news-based YouTubers are all one and the same. And that method, I'm going to I'll touch on it here and I'll talk about it next time, would be talk about what the news is going to be about, put in the news in your face, give sources from the people who are doing the wrong thing, and they're the ones doing it and sending the stuff in, so such as modding and duping. They like show like a vending machine, they'll talk about the sources of the guy who duped it. They're giving sources from wrong credits. And then they're like, well, in my opinion, and then they'll give their opinion. And we'll touch on that later. And then they'll close it out with, and they're sprinkling lots more opinions in between. And do like, and all of it say, it is what it is, what can we do, right? And all of, just, no, that's lazy. That's lazy and telling the ones who are trying to do something about it, lol, there's nothing you can do. I don't want to say fuck you because she's kind of on the nose with all the news that she gives. She's not wrong with any of the news. But when I hear someone like her or anyone say, LOL, what can you do? Am I right? There's nothing we can do for now, so we just sit out and wait it out. Lazy. Lazy. And it ruins the movement to hear a YouTuber that's bigger than you say that shit, because it's designed to make you feel like you're alone. It's all designed that way.
There is something they can do. They can talk about it, like the way we're talking about it. You know. There is something they can do. They can talk about it like the way we're talking about it, and stop being, you know. I mean, I don't want to call any names here, but you know, if they're being biased, to stop. Like Rifle with the toy review, you know, didn't really see any complaints about, oh man, I wish it was made out of, you know, pure metal or something, then it would be worth $150, like we talked about Rifle earlier today. But they just seem, people who are talking about the ban waiver and complaining about it are just being unfair or ridiculous or whatever she said. No. The whole point of complaining about the damn ban wave was so we could get people to understand that they need to fix the problems and stop banning the people.
Probably get a chance to make sure your headset and shit's plugged in correctly, because every so often I hear a little bit of movement on your end, and it makes a really sharp pop, over and over. It's starting to blow my eardrums out to the point I'm having to turn my piano on and try to drown you out because it's starting.
I'm sorry, let me try something here real quick.
I'm pretty sure it's on your end, but I double.
Is this any better? Sorry.
Is this any better? I'm in the closet and under a blanket. What you gotta do now?
But I just plugged in my headset. I don't want to be too loud right now.
Where's Pet? There he is. Hi, Pet.
But, is this any better, though? Is it making any loud pops?
A little bit.
Okay.
A little bit. It just sounded like there was like a little disconnection between you and the device and whatever you're using to chat.
Yeah.
They'd be like, pop.
I wanted to make sure that you weren't, that I wasn't too loud before I start ranting again.
Tiger. He's watching me. He's stalking me. But one step ahead. Look at his face.
Tiger.
I love my cat. But with Kev Do It, I think that would be really one of the reasons why I kind of believe this game has been so, I'll say it, people are toxic. I think he's a little match in the kindling, the Kevin Kindlewood thing going over here. He lights a candle, puts it on a bunch of logs, that is toxicity, and just lets the wildfire spread. He's one of those players that, well, I'm getting the lulls even if I'm not the one that the lulls are about. That any clout is good clout to him because someone's noticing my video as I'm being an ass. What other YouTuber did that, What other YouTuber makes content and doesn't give a damn about any of it, to the point where if you even comment or watch his video, he's making millions of dollars because you watched the video and you took your time to comment. He should have 0 subscribers, and if he does have any, I'm surprised. He intentionally makes content to make people angry or happy, and then comment regardless. Coins the idea of you commenting on his video afterwards, whether you're mad or not. And any kind of attention you give him, even if it is to count as a view, he's happy about getting, because he knows YouTube's algorithms and he exploits them just as much as
yeah, I know who you're talking
do.
about now.
Yep. That's what people like him
I
and
know
do
that.
like.
But fun fact, he's still on a rampage for blood. But I'm only gonna mention his name here because, or mention him because to give you guys a good idea. H3 did a few videos recently talking about him. And
it's a funny joke. It's very creative. That's a creative tag right there. H3. Good joke, bro. I like that.
He Productions. That's what I always call him. But I'll call him by his real name. I think it's Anthony Keem or something like that. I know Keem is actually in his name, but yeah, not a good dude. And he's. I'll tell you one of his famous little quotes. He said, "I'm a believer of revenge. I believe that if someone fucks you over in any way, shape, or form, destroy them."
Yep. All of his videos contained a amount of things that you should never say on YouTube. He's probably been demonetized a bunch or banned or anything. And again, he's one of those believers as well, a high belief, and any clout is good clout. No matter how bad it is and no matter how malicious or not the content is. He's one of those dudes, he'll make a video talking about Black Lives Matter, and he'll stretch out matter and say, put the word don't in between somewhere in the way. And he will point it towards it and make it sound like that they're sadists or whatever. You can fill in the blanks yourself. And he'd do it. He's probably already done it before. He'd be the kind of guy that would go to a World War veteran thing, a memorial of a plaque for 9/11, and walk around the back and turn his camera off and leave the audio on of him peeing on the rock or something and say, fuck all of you. And then turn the video back on and say, sorry about that, we lost a bit of audio and video functionality for a second there. Good veterans. Yeah, great, totally good people.
I'll mention some of the things
back and he
done.
uploads that video, and he knows someone's going to tell him to go to hell, and just that one comment got him $100. That one view to watch it long enough to get there, where he intentionally meanders around this scenario, is already like a second. You get a viewpoint per second viewed. So he's doing things slowly and rage-inducing. He likes to get money off of people's dismay.
Let's talk about some of his sins. Real quick, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I wanted to talk about some more of his sins. During Etika's little breakdown, he only fed into it, and B said before the whole thing that, quote, I quote, Etika has lost his mind. And not only that, he is very against mental illness. He believes that mental illness is a weakness.
Has he seen himself yet, though? I mean,
right.
I mean, really, has he seen himself? He's playing Adolf Hitler right now. Because Adolf Hitler didn't just kill Jews; he killed people that weren't of the race of Aryan, and people that were mentally or physically disabled.
Right. And he also harassed an old man who was just wanting to play some RuneScape with some false pedophile allegations. Made the man cry on stream, and that's what he wanted, because his fans, quote unquote fans, I'm just gonna call them little assassins at this point, harassed him to the point of tears, and then said, "Oh no, we got a story wrong." But here's the thing, I know he meant that, because afterwards, he's like, "I'm not gonna feed into this. I'm not responsible. You need to take responsibilities for your actions if you do something wrong." But not only that, 2 years later...
I bet you 5 minutes later I can have someone go to his house and tie him to a pole and give him a bullwhip to the face a couple times and do the exact same thing for laws. Again, you said they'll get their karma. He'll get his karma one day. Someone's gonna remember what he did to them. Imagine, what was it? I'll pull a little joke here because the FNAF series is really funny with Consequences. The Old Man Consequences was an actual story within itself that you didn't really notice because it's in a video game. But there is again, I mentioned Clover and Karma and Revenge, the two sisters of the king. And guess what? It was the king of, if I recall correctly, Sin and Punishment. Okay? It was two sisters and one son. Karma and Revenge and Consequences. The oldest son was named Consequences. And he told his sisters that you were two, or they're like, he basically was talking about them being a reverse of yin and yang, where yin and yang went together to form peace and harmony. Karma and revenge were the yin and yang of despair and dismay, or pain and suffering. And that's why you could see it may not be the reason, but that's kind of why you would understand in the game of FNAF, it was more of a old man Consequences, like Father Time, Mother Nature, but he was fishing. Brother was, in the story, was unfriendly sent to his dad by the angry sisters in the form of what? Revenge. And what happened? He was, as a punishment for, quote-unquote, disgracing his sisters, he was sent away from the family to an eternity of fishing and watching the world slowly die. So afterlife nonsense. So we could talk about that there too. He is the bringer of his two sisters, though. At the end of the story, but something happens to the father that gets him brought right to where the son is, and he says, "But it looks to me like you failed, Father." He basically tells the father, "You fucked up. And soon, your fuck up will bring my sisters here, and I will be the slaver as it is to a slave." Basically, the story, he enslaves them as a demon would to a mortal looking for riches or enlightenment for the rest of eternity. You asked for a curing of cancer, but now I'm going to turn you into, you're going to do my bidding as the next Ghost Rider, or whatever you want to fill in the blank for. So he is going to be brought a swift blow from Old Man Consequences, who hopefully soon, if he's still making videos, just remember that the more stupid shit he does, the more lives he fucks up. It adds on to another story of, no matter how dark, no matter how grim the darkness, there's always room for the light to envelop and end the darkness. I'm not going to do big words here. So I would imagine eventually that YouTuber and like Cab DeWitt, both who like this good clout, bad clout, doesn't matter to me. I'm being an ass. So if I get good clout, I get good clout. If I get bad clout, it's still good clout. They're not going to be too happy in the future. But if you get my point there, that's why I said before, no legal paperwork needed to prove this, because psychologically, both of those people are somewhat unstable. Now, am I gonna say that Kev DeWitt's mentally unstable? No, he's psychologically unstable, because it takes a really fucked up person to get on a video game and say, "Hey, I'm gonna give them a low level, a one day or something that could possibly potentially end that possibility of them continuing being any more than that." No, if I'm lucky, it'll screw their shit over forever, and they won't one less noob to compete with. Kev has admitted before in a YouTuber thing where YouTubers line up the table, someone asked Kev Dewitt about why he does it to low levels, and what the kid heard in Kev Dewitt's mouth brought that kid to tears. I give low levels Nuka Shine, knowing of what it will do completely. I'm completely aware of what happens, but I am only doing one thing. Removing the plague of low levels from the game for a game made for high-level people. He's basically doing the Adolf moment where territory is only claimed by hierarchy, high people. High-level players, low-level players be damned or be enslaved at this point, basically. He doesn't... So he knows what he's doing. He admitted to it. And of course, like the story about Riley and then one dude we were talking about where he tried to do some pretty bad things to her in these YouTube events, you don't really see, or things like E3, you don't see a lot of people doing a lot of bad things or hear anything really, because you just hear the chaos of people existing in one room, lots of movement. So you could potentially bring a gun to E3 and use it in a crowd of people at one specific point with any E3, and no one would hear the gun go off. So it's because the chaos and dismay would completely delude and silence its own form of death and destruction from a firearm and a really bad person. So again, it wouldn't surprise me if someone with these YouTubers doing things they do, I wouldn't be too surprised if someone decided, enough's enough. I remember when he fucked me over in a video game, or this one dude disgraced my grandfather who served on the American side of the Korean War and disgraced him by doing some bad things. It wouldn't surprise me if a dude came back and was like that and said, I'm going to get this gun and I'm going to shoot this guy. And now that dude's in critical condition all over the news. He's going to be salivating while he's on his little gurney in the hospital as the news plays at him as a hero killer and all this stuff. And the one who's been injured was the one who was wrong from the get-go. He's going to be sitting there jizzing himself and salivating while he's in massive pain and critical condition because he got to be a bearer of publicity.
Right. Okay.
We don't need people like that, and that's kind of why I'm hoping Kev Dewitt will eventually, in metaphorical terms, in the form of the game's integrity, what little bit is left of it taught out and screwed up, metaphorically, I wish he would cease to exist from the wasteland. He would take a little bird and fly the fuck out of here. Because when I've seen him once in my game. He tried to give me something. He was about to record a video. I said some really unfriendly things to him. I called him a racial slur or two. And I told him to go drink bleach if you think I'm going to get on your video with a bunch of people that would enjoy causing problems. I'm not the best to be as stupid as you. I at least have enough balls to be nice to people. Where you are afraid to, I am not. I left the world. I knew he was recording it, but he never made it public. You know why? Because I took his own ego and I shoved it in a little tin can and put it on a shelf somewhere and told him I don't care.
Yeah.
That you exist, but to me, nothing more than cannon fodder, a speck under ant shit. You're nothing to me, Kev Dewitt. YouTubers and people like that are nothing to me. And William even says people like that will not be missed when they actually cease to exist. When they stop living and shit. People won't care about him in the masses because after the mourning is actually over at the family, people are going to realize he was an asshole when he was alive, when he got on these Xbox games and got on YouTube. He was a bad dude. So right after the mourning happens, comes the shit-hitting fan. His family will be in trouble because of him in some way. Raise your kids.
Right.
Always raise your kids.
Raise your kids to be better than what this generation has brought upon us.
Are you okay over there, Willow? Willow's grunting and snorting. She got a whiff of flour. Mars brought a really big-ass flower from out back, and Willow's like, oh, my nose.
My nose.
What have you done? Willow's been like, ever since she came inside. Full-on stomach convulsions. Like, she can't breathe. You're like, what's his name's pet? It's like, Willow, I told you you're about as allergic as pollen as I am. Please don't sniff the flowers. She wags her tail as she's doing. You're like, yeah, you're right. Flowers smell nice, but they hurt. We had to give her Benadryl. Yeah, who knew that Benadryl was animal safe? Hi, Patches. No pages. But that's really one of the things I want to talk about. We're calling some YouTubers out here to make note of life lessons, if you want to call them so, and some of them are just because of what they're doing is halting the progression of a better wasteland. Right, to them, the wasteland's not broken.
And we
to
wanted
Rifle,
to prove
it's not
that because
broken.
they're big doesn't mean they're doing something right.
Right. And we're asking people to be
what should be done.
understanding of this too.
Right.
You know, right? If you ask Rifle, I'm likely 50% sure he'll say there's nothing wrong with the game right now. He won't count bugs as a problem. He won't count the massive issues that are on the media right now about some of this stuff a problem. He's going to say, it's all right, man. It's fine if you don't believe me, but it's okay. Half-ass saying that it's whatever, man. Or in all the ability just to straight up say, oh, well, it is what it is. What can you do? Am I right? And then she goes to a transition. Just lazy. So we're going to post these videos today and then record the other videos and post those tomorrow? Or are we going to...
These have been live streams. These have been live streams. So they're going to immediately upload whenever we do it.
On the health right now, is what I'm asking.
Right. I think we should wait and get some more. I need to watch more and stuff to get a good idea of some things that they said.
Okay, that's understandable. That's what we want, is to be as informed as possible, arming ourselves with the weapons of knowledge and truth, and shielding ourselves with the facts that follow.
And I'm also gonna have to watch a shit ton of Juicehead. I don't normally watch these people.
Right. I can't say I'm really with them either on that.
I couldn't say that you would blame me for not watching them.
That's two people you'd watch if you want to follow news. I mean, Rifle has done news in the past, but again, right now what he really does that I've seen is get things, new toys. Somebody does it for free and do lots and lots of Twitch, which then gets turned into gameplay. He's no longer posting on his screen anymore like he used to be, so I'm not going to count him on the news level right now. So we're in awe of, and Juicehead play the game, and Juicehead's notorious for playing Nuclear Winter as the background image. Poor guy. I think it's just a boost of views, but to me that's a turnoff.
Yeah.
I can very rarely watch his video and listen to him seriously. And it's not really that I hate him for doing Nuclear Winter. I just don't like Nuclear Winter, which makes me less likely to pay attention and care about what's being said when I'm being distracted by something I don't currently enjoy.
Right.
I mean, not a big issue to me. It's his gameplay. It's actually his gameplay, so I'm not going to, we'll say fuck Juicehead because I don't like Nuclear Winter. I just don't enjoy watching people play Battle Royale games, and
I play Battle Royale games,
Nuclear
Winter isn't really my forte when it comes to Fallout.
The fact that no matter what, you don't ever rank up until excessive grinding. That's another reason why I don't like it, because he's up in higher levels than I am, and I've been trying for months, if not almost a year, to get up into something higher than 5. And no matter how much effort I put in it, no matter how far it's lasted, I've always gotten no XP for the game. I've gotten XP everywhere else, capped everywhere else, but I got nothing, damn near nothing for Nuclear Winter. Maybe some weapon skins and some other shit. But the good stuff is locked behind a paywall of, you play game excessive, you get no social life and beat our game, and we'll give you things like rare weapons, cool lore, and the power armor sets you can only get here. Nuclear Winter. Have fun, don't fail. Great, I'm gonna die. tear my own life up. You know, I got so sick, and I told you last time after we got the bat paint for the assault rifle, I looked at my reward, and what little, like, bare minimum shit I got for just playing the match and lasting a while was damn near nothing. The gun paint was probably the best thing I got out of all that. 5 XP, 2 or 3 caps. This for venture mode, and then the gun paint a wreath. The shit I had to go through. And the fact that it's been known that people are being bad when they play Nuclear Winter, I wasn't too pleased. The paint is okay, I guess. You know, you wonder what people do wrong in that game. That's pretty clear to me when I played Nuclear Winter, why people are so willing to break the rules and justify their actions with the fact that it's in the game, it's okay. I believe that. Because, again, if there wasn't a problem with your game and you didn't know about it, there wouldn't be people doing it on a regular basis like there are in Fallout. I hate to say it, Todd, there's no way you can justify not fixing your game. If people are willingly doing this on a regular basis, from almost as much as you fucked your game up, Todd. That's really all it is at this point. So we're going to go back to a Xbox chat since we're almost done with this video.
Yep. But I wanted to mention something about Nuclear Winter. You know me, I play Fortnite. I play a Battle Royale game myself. So I know quite a bit about it, and I enjoy playing Fortnite. But first time I played Nuclear Winter, I just looked at it and I was like, I mean, I don't hate it, but it's not my thing. I'd rather just do adventure mode. And the fact that
I don't like the environment it puts you in, where you got
right, and the fact that they put the rewards in there.
Off, gun or reloaded.
The fact that
you're
put
more destined to fail.
Right, and the fact that they put those rewards in there just makes me feel you're just begging me to play Nuclear Winter at this point. And I don't care how much you beg, I'm just not going to do it. But yeah, I would like to go.
I want my Hellfire armor because I was screwed of my reward, and I've been like ever since launch. I was at like 1, and then recently I hit level 5. And I've gotten jack shit since with the gun. So I think that me and a lot of other players need to be reimbursed for the inconvenience. Like we'll call it inconvenience charge. A lot of companies will charge you with for bothering them or whatever. They need to give us the higher end shit. We're doing nothing because you can't do anything in the game like this. You're playing their game, and then all of a sudden you're jabbed like 6,000 caps or something like that, and they're gonna look you in the face and say, "Get good, square up, and play. Don't sit there and bitch at me because you're not doing your job correctly," or something like that. I'm not going to sit here and continuously play my game. If it was my game, it would be fair playing field. Shit wouldn't be broken. It wouldn't be an it just work. It will be it will work, but we won't release it until it does. Oh, Destiny 2 Beyond Light. A new power is born. Lol. You're funny, Destiny 2. They're remastering their own game at this point. Destiny 2 is so, to me, underrated. You get this game, you're playing the game, you're just here, and all of a sudden, if you don't get the full game, if you got it like what I
think it was overrated.
I got it as a digital. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you realize it's already too big for your Xbox to handle, and after a bit of time, they put their progression behind a paywall. So you have to do something to continue, which results in you having to pay for it. And I was like, I'm glad I bought it as a digital, because it was a big waste of my time. But yeah. But yeah.
Yep. So thank you guys for being here to talk about this. And like I said before, the evidence is pretty strong on the last one. I'm looking forward to the other 2 that we're going to be doing tomorrow. Or maybe we might hold it off until the next day, but, we'll do it eventually.
I'll tickle your foot, Kate. I'm sorry.
But thank you for being here to talk about this. And thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys in the next one.